We are live. Dun 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 dun. Will you join in my crusade? Who will be strong and stand with me? Beyond the barricade, is there a world you long to see? Then join in the fight that will give you the right to be free. Welcome, welcome. Oh, hello. Hello, we have a visitor. Hello, Zesty House Mom. If you've not been to visit before, Zesty House Mom, I'm here to do word processing. And this is part 2. I've been consolidating the BAM operations manual into a word processing document. And now I've got all of the text in there, all of the text that's available to date. It seems to keep rolling out more information on the website, the related website, which I will display now. BAMOpsManual.com. So if you want to check it out, that's where you can find it, BAMOpsManual.com. Additionally, I've set up a Discord server. We've just got a few people in there so far. And that's available for, that's where I'm going to post this PDF once I finish it. By putting the text into columns, I can fit more words onto one page than just having it just in one single column. Now I'm going to go back through and polish it up. I don't think I need these page numbers. There are bits of information which come from the BAM Ops Manual website. I believe the BAM Ops Manual website is hosted by the same people that make the BAM map. I'm not positive about that. But we keep getting more and more information, more chapters. So at first we just had like 5 chapters, but now we've got 14, what is that, 16? 16 chapters. Cleaning Lego in your store appears to be the last subsection available. Hey, Alan! Hello, friend. Great to see you. Been wondering when you would have the time to look into this. What a bunch! What a bunch this corporation are. Yes, what a bunch they are. I've come to the conclusion that Ammon McNeff is comparable to Darth Vader, because Darth Vader is extremely evil, but he's also a very compelling character that everyone is interested in. So, yeah, he's a rotten guy, but there's so much to evaluate with regard to his actions and his personality. Dude, there was like an emoji thing going over here. It was like popping up. Let me see what happens if I do. Oh my gosh, cool. Didn't even know that was possible. One day, someday, this chat will actually appear kind of like on the other channels. That's not something that's terribly difficult to do. It's just I have not prioritized it. I am on LibreOffice Writer. It does not have all the exact same keyboard shortcuts as Microsoft Word, but I will tell you guys the keyboard shortcuts that I'm using as I go, just for general knowledge. And regardless of whether you're in Word or LibreOffice Writer or some other word processing system, these pilcrows, these paragraph markers, these backwards P looking things, these are marks. What are they called? Formatting marks, I think. But they help to keep track of where all the spaces are and where all the paragraph breaks are. Right now, I'm going to do some formatting that relates to the paragraph styles, and therefore I'm going to bring up the styles here. Let's see, I'll do it like this. Okay. So I use F11 to access F11 to access these different styles. We got page styles, character styles, paragraph styles is the main one. And what I want to do is I'm going to eliminate these carriage returns, these spaces, but then I'm going to format the paragraphs themselves so that they have an extra space at the bottom. That's going to be an indents and spacing. I'm going to go below paragraph. Maybe I'll start with like probably 0.14. Yeah, that's pretty good. What you'll notice is that these other paragraph styles also seem to have inherited that space. If I use Control Z, yeah, look. So undo, redo, so I can just see the difference. So these other styles have inherited that characteristic. And I'm able to preserve inheritance by when I'm making changes to a specific paragraph style, rather than making the changes up here in the toolbar or the ribbon as it's sometimes called. Instead, I make those changes directly over here within the styles. And by doing it that way, I preserve inheritance. Hey, Alan, how have you been? I'm interested to know anything that you have to share in your life. With regard to this interesting bunch here, have you seen any videos recently that are of interest, or found any new insights that might be of relevance? I'd love to hear. And how do we say this? I don't know if Zesty House Mom, I don't know if you're still around, but I'd also be interested to hear your insights. So already just by doing that, it's improved the formatting pretty significantly. However, now I'm going to go through and eliminate all these unwanted carriage returns. It's pretty quick and easy using the... I'm going to also see here where it says page 9. I'm going to get rid of that also. Those are preserved in the BAM Ops Manual website. So if I look like at the introduction here, what they've done is they're telling us which pages they're actually drawing from the actual physical operations manual. So the introduction section represents pages 8 to 13, and then they actually post which page they're on as they go. See page 9 and so forth, which is helpful. But for this document, I'm going to get rid of that. I just want to improve readability at all costs. Well, not at all costs, at most costs. So I'm pretty sure most of you know that you can vastly improve your Word or document editing capabilities by holding down the Control key when you press the arrows, and it'll jump one paragraph at a time. So see here, it bounces to the top and the bottom of the paragraph. So it's really easy for me to go through and make these editing changes. Also look here, we've got a paragraph which is broken, so I'm going to go ahead and bring that back together. Oh, it looks like I missed one here. Okay, we're doing good. Zesty House Mom has a comment. In addition to learning about BAM, I'm absorbing and learning all your word processing functions. Oh, great, awesome, cool. So that's why I kind of point out all these little things that I'm doing as I go. There's, I don't know if you've seen it before, Zesty Mom, but the way that I got these section headings to look the way they do is by creating a paragraph style. So originally that was default paragraph style, but now I switch it to heading 1. And I'll review some of the keyboard shortcuts that I've created later on. Bricks and Minifigs is built on the principle of the 3 R's. You know, as long as I'm going through here and eliminating the blank spaces between the paragraphs, I'm going to also double check for some of the other formatting. So what I want to look for is see anywhere where there's a bold heading in the text. Obviously I've got these section headers, I've already identified those. Or section headings actually, not headers. Headings and headers, it's easy to get those two words confused. The header is the space up at the top here. I'll go ahead and add a header and we'll just say BAM Operations manual. I want to put this in the middle. And I want to make it big. When I'm working in the header, I'm not going to worry about using the paragraph styles. In this case, I actually will just go up and make my changes up here at the top. I'll use Arial Black to make it nice and big. That's the most heaviest, most solid font that I know of. I bet there's a guy named Nailhead who visits sometimes, and he probably knows an even heavier, bigger font. He's really into fonts. I'd say I'm interested in fonts, but I'm not that heavily into them. So I'll add a page number here as well. It just says page number, but that when it goes to print, it will actually, oops. And how big did I make that? Let's see. 18. I don't know, we'll leave it at 18 for now. So even though it says page number here, if I look at the print preview, you'll see that it says page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4. See? I have another way of doing print preview, which is exporting to PDF and then viewing it in Chrome in my web browser. I'll go ahead and get that started right now too. I have a keyboard shortcut for that, Control-Shift-E if you wanted to do it manually, or if you don't know the keyboard shortcut and you want to look up the keyboard shortcut. Remember on Microsoft Word, and it's similar here, anywhere you hover over one of the buttons, you'll see when you hover, it'll just tell you, if there's a keyboard shortcut, it'll tell you what that keyboard shortcut is. Like print, Control-P, everyone knows that one. Save, Control-S. Okay, open, Control-O. Well, the one I want is to export to PDF. So I go find that command wherever it is. And you'll see export as PDF does not have a keyboard shortcut, but export directly as PDF has Control-Shift-E. Okay, so I can just memorize that, or if I forget it, I can always look it up again. I do Control-Shift-E. It's getting a little crowded in here. Bam, Ops Manual 1. I'll just save it here for now. What I do is I fill up one folder, and then once it gets full, then I create new folders and separate everything out into new folders, and then when one of those folders gets full, I separate it out. That's how I stay organized. So it exported to PDF, so what I can do now is I can actually just go C:, and then since I've already done it before, it pulls up the file path. So I can look up, I'll just pull up this one, whatever it recommended. This is a complaint of prosecutorial misconduct, which I prepared. This is a court filing, but that's not the one I want to look at. So we'll get rid of that. And you'll see, I can just browse through my actual file folders right here in my internet browser. Parent directory will take me up a level. You go another level. Let's see. Ben, there it is. Yeah, this folder is getting pretty busy. Bam, opsmanual1.pdf. So then let's just say I make a change, and I'll just demonstrate here. If I make a change here, like I put in some, whatever my change is. Now I do Control-Shift-E, save, replace, yes. So I just replaced that PDF. It's a big document, that's why it's taken a long time. Usually it's really fast. Once it's done, now I come in here and I refresh, because the path is still the same. It's still looking at the A folder /Ben/BAM ops manual. If I hit refresh, see, there's that change that I made. Like that. See it right there? So I can just keep exporting and refreshing here, or I can do the print preview. Let's see, you've got some chat here. Happy birthday, thank you. Rose Investigates. Hey, good to see you, Rose Investigates. Thank you for the birthday greeting. Alan watched Loose yesterday, and the penny just dropped that BAM are sitting on over 1 million in gift cards, and I reckon those holding the cards should redeem them and bankrupt BAM. I think they won't survive. And happy birthday from Alan as well. Thank you for the birthday greetings. Yeah, I actually I think I'm the first person who brought that up. They have about $1 million in gift cards, and those gift cards function as a short-term loan to Bricks and Minifigs, and then by redeeming those gift cards, people can withdraw cash from BAM Corporate. And hey, thank you, Zesty House Mom, for the happy birthday wishes. Yeah, it's the way it works is that it doesn't directly, it's not like BAM is going to directly send cash to the franchisee just because somebody redeemed a gift card. But what will happen is in the account balances, the royalties that the franchisees end up having to pay to BAM will be reduced anytime someone goes and redeems a gift card in the store. This is a very effective way to draw down BAM's cash reserves. BAM has two sources of funding for their operations. Currently, these are the only two ways that they have been, as of their last financial statements, the only way that they have been financing operations. They have been losing money year over year on basic procedures and operations, and they get money by getting new franchisees at $40,000 a pop, signing new people on board, and then with the gift cards function as a short-term microloan. And by spending down those gift cards, anyone who has one, if they go to their local Bricks and Minifigs store and spend that, that reduces the cash pool up at the corporate level. Just like when people buy a gift card, you don't really see the cash going into the Bricks and Minifigs bank accounts, but that's the long-term effect of how it trickles through there. So I did cover that in my the Chihuahua effect video, and I am so pleased to see other people addressing that that point. I'm really happy to hear that Luce covered that because he obviously has a much broader audience than I do. Oops. And I've seen some comments here and there in some of the videos where some random people say, with regard to whatever their video they're watching, they'll say, hey, by the way, spend your Bricks and Minifigs gift cards because it depletes cash from the franchisor. So I put that word out there. I didn't expect anyone to understand what I was saying or to catch on to the concept, but some people did, and then they started spreading the word around. And so it sounds like, Alan, thank you for that tip that Luce has now caught on to that method of depleting cash from the franchisor. That is wonderful news for me to hear that people are becoming aware of that concept. It was the first time it was presented to the public was in the Chihuahua effect video. I might have covered it briefly in a live stream when I was formatting the BAM financial statements for distribution. Anybody who wants to get the PDF to that, it is linked in the Chihuahua effect video, but I've also uploaded PDFs to the Discord channel. If you want to find that Discord channel, it's just up here at the top of the chat in today's live stream. I forgot to put it in the video description, but that's the Discord link there, and you are all invited. Okay, I think I found, so 1-3, it looks like there's some formatting here to do. I'm going to check the source and see what it looks like. Yep, see there's some bullet points here. So this will be my first big formatting change here to this document. What I want to do is where it says, we'll start with bricks and minifigs relies on the 3 R's. Here we go. So I need to make bullet points. Okay, that's good, but it's they're indented a little bit too far for my tastes. So what I want to do is figure out how I can adjust the bullet point formatting. This is getting technical. Index, heading, framer. It's still using the default paragraph style, but it's bulleted. And I want this to, basically what I'm trying to do is I want to make it so that any other bullets that I make, I can have them replicate the same formatting. I think I'll just create my own new format here rather than trying to see, well, I kind of looked, I don't see a bullet points. Maybe in text body. List. Yeah, list, that's it. Numbering, but I don't see that those have been activated here. So I'm just going to use my own, I'm going to make my own formatting here. So all I really want to do is change the indents. So I use the little handles up here at the top. Zoom in so you guys can see that. These little triangles, you have to be patient because you have to really just get your cursor right on them, and they're easy to miss. If you accidentally miss, it'll create one of these little L's. Do you guys see that? That little dark L? And that's another tab stop, but I don't want that. So to get rid of those, if you have sometimes you'll see a document that'll have a whole bunch of those because someone was having troubles. The way to get rid of those is you click on it and drag away down off of the ruler. If you just click anywhere randomly in the ruler, you'll get these tab stops. And you can toggle which type of tab stops you're using right here. Right justified, center justified with a decimal, left justified. At any rate, what I want to do is I want to get this thing moved over so it's just closer to the side. Don't want that. Oh. That's not right. Why is it showing a tab there? Getting close. So I'll use the drop down from the bullets list, and it says more bullets down here. Now I'm getting into my options. Customize, character. Let's see, bullets. Position. There we go, position. Oh, nice. Okay, I'm just going to use this one. So, cancel, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z. Okay. So I said I was going to make my own, but I think I have a better way to do it. Right here. Position. Aligned at 0.25. Tab stop at and indent at. Okay, so the tab stop is for that first line, and then the indent is for the second line. So we're going to align it at 0.10. Tab stop at 0.2. Indent at 0.2. Okay. And let's try that. Yeah. Cool. So it's all looking good except for just this one. Oh, we're so close. Uh-oh. I hit Control Z too many times. Oh, I know. I'll go keep going back until I get rid of the bullets. There it is. Redo. There. Undo. There we go. Okay. What I just did is you can use the drop down from these arrows and see which actions it's going to undo. And what I did is I hovered over the undo and redos, and it tells me which actions were the most recent that it's going to redo or undo. So that helped to guide me so that I could undo just the place that I wanted. All right, I'm going to try again now. Okay, applied bullets. I want to adjust more bullets. Position. Aligned at 0.1, 0.2, 0.2. Okay. There we go. Got it. Now I'm going to see when I make other bullets. Is that a little too close? Let's see. No, that's fine. Well, I can do better. I can do it better than that. Position. I'm going to say aligned at 0.02. And then tab stop at 0.16 and indent at 0.16. I think that'll be even better. Yeah. Cool. So now I'm going to find some other bullet points and see if I can get the same formatting on these ones. See what happens. By just applying the bullets, it's done the default, and I do not want to go in and keep redoing that process every time. The whole reason I went through all that trouble is to make it quick and easy. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new paragraph style from what I got going on here and see if I apply it to these ones, if I can get the same effect. By the way, everybody, the reason I'm here right now is to connect with people and say hi to people and talk to people. So I missed a couple of comments last time I was live from a user, Sinwin. So if Sinwin is out there or comes back in, I'm definitely hoping to be able to catch up more. And other than that, I'm just going to keep formatting this document. What you'll see is that by going through and doing the formatting, we're going to develop a real familiarity with the document, and we're going to begin to know the document and understand the document and have a familiarity with its structure as we go. And so by the time we get done formatting it and then we print it, then we already have a general idea of the scope of the document. This is default paragraph style right now, which is good. I'm going to preserve inheritance by creating a new style directly from the default paragraph style. I'll call this one A___bullets. Oops. There. Bullers. Okay, bullets. Now I'm going to apply that style down here and see what happens. Nothing. What was it? 0.02. First line 0.16. Let's try that. Nothing. Okay, I'll keep thinking about that one and come back to it. I'll probably figure it out before too long. I just don't want to have to go through individually on each one of these. I know what I can do. I'm going to manually adjust the paragraph style to what I had it before. Before text 0.02. First line 0.16. Okay. No. I know I can do this. Oh, I know what I'll do. No. I'll have to keep thinking about that. I'll figure out a way to make it easier. For now, I'm going to leave it. I don't want to go through every single time and do this whole process. Oh, I could create a macro. That'll do it. 0.02, 0.16, 0.16. But I don't want to go through that process every time. One thing I will do is I'll put these closer together since they're a bullet list. So I will modify the bullets paragraph style. And for below paragraph, it's inherited from default paragraph, but I'm going to reduce that. Take it down to 0.8. I think for default I want it a little closer also. 0.1. Okay. Control F10 to make the pilcrows visible. So I'll keep going, and next time I run into some bullet points, I'll try recording a macro and see if that helps. A macro is a way to automate your processes, yeah? Okay, so here we have another section that I want to make a new paragraph style for. For anything that's referencing a figure. So I'm going to take this, it starts as default paragraph style, that's good. I'm going to create a new style based on default paragraph style. I always start with A underscore underscore just to make them pop to the top of the list. On Microsoft Word it's a little bit different. The styles appear up in the ribbon. But this is the way I do it here in this program. This one will be called figure. Okay. Modify that. So for this paragraph style, I want the text to be smaller. So we'll take the font size down to maybe 9. And should we put a border around it? Because in the here we see a border around it. Oh, and this is another thing too, kind of a call out box. What would you call that? Like if you're reading a magazine and then they'll have like a quote from the article kind of in big and bold in the middle. Alan Sharman says, any new news on your court case, or are they making you wait for the next installment? Oh, great question. I got actually a birthday present today in the mail. I went out and checked the mail today because so I filed a complaint of prosecutorial misconduct against, I've got like 4 cases going right now. I filed a complaint of prosecutorial misconduct against Nicholas Mills, who is the prosecutor for Kaysville, the city of Kaysville here, because they've been pursuing a false littering charge against me where no probable cause exists, in retaliation for me expressing my legal right, not a First Amendment right, but a legal right to send evidence preservation requirement notices. And in order to make it so I cannot preserve evidence, they've pursued a littering case against me on that. Well, I submitted a complaint of misconduct, and then the judge ruled on that. Here, I'll pull it up and show you. Let's see. Forms. Kaysville. There's this one, and then I'm going to duplicate this tab. There's also, I got a response from the judge on this, which was really cool. This was a few days ago. This was like a week and a half ago that I got the ruling from the judge. Oh, I don't see it. Oh, I bet it came into this one here. There it is. Okay. So this is the response from the judge. And this one is the complaint that I filed. So the complaint is regarding rule violations proceeding from the actions of Mr. Nicholas Mills, the prosecutor, on March 30th in the case of State of Utah versus Matthew Patrick Lemon. Case number, that, and Justice Yanchowski, that's the name of the judge. So I went in there and I described everything that happened. Mr. Mills denied Mr. Lemon this right and that right and this right and that right. And one of them that I brought up is a request for a bill of particulars. And so, and I went through and cited all these different court rules that lawyers shall treat other counsel, parties, judges, witnesses, and all other participants in all proceedings in a courteous and dignified manner. Lawyers shall not authorize or encourage their clients or anyone under their direction, etc., etc. Hey, Hajaspir, long time. Hey, good to see you. Yo, good morning. Happy birthday as well. Thank you. Thank you from Germany. I'm figuring out these speech bubbles from the cows and the goats and the rams and stuff here. I'm starting to learn about that. So Mr. Mills' actions violated this rule and that rule and the other. And so anyway, at the end of this, I made requests. I requested that Mr. Mills be disqualified, and the prosecution be required to provide a bill of particulars. So within all of this, I also talked about the need for a bill of particulars. Mr. Lemon asserts that the actions on December 31st, 2025 of posting evidence preservation requirement notices do not constitute the offense to be charged. Mr. Lemon asserts the right to request a bill of particulars. It is the court's discretion whether to grant this request, since more than 14 days have passed since the arraignment. A bill of particulars is supposed to be requested within 14 days of the arraignment. However, Mr. Lemon is a pro se litigant with essentially zero courtroom experience. He did not even learn of the existence of such a thing as a bill of particulars until about 10 days ago, as of the date of filing this, which I filed this on June 1st. A bill of particulars would help to connect the dots to explain how the defendant's actions of posting evidence preservation requirement notices relate to the Utah Littering Statute 76-9-1802. It remains to be seen how Mr. Lemon did anything that remotely resembles, quote, dropping, throwing, depositing, or discarding litter, close quote. A bill of particulars would help to clarify these muddy waters. And so I requested the prosecution be required to provide a bill of particulars. I was also requesting a continuance of the trial date, additional pretrial hearings, and for the prosecution to provide their general legal strategy and instruction on pretrial hearing objectives and procedures. Respectfully submitted. So then I got a reply from the judge like a month and a half later. It turns out that if I file a motion or if I file anything with the court, the judge doesn't even look at it until I file something else or put some verbiage in that filing that says request for oral argument or request for attention or something. I haven't figured that part out, but I can also bring it to the judge's attention during the hearings. So during the next hearing, I brought up the complaint and requested to make oral arguments. I have not been able to make oral arguments on this complaint yet. However, the judge came through and made this really detailed response. And on or about the 27th of May, a copy of Lemon's exhibits were sent to the Kaysville City. Those were my talking points which I had brought to a pretrial conference meeting, which Mr. Mills had ignored and refused to talk about. On or about June 1st, Lemon filed his complaint with the court, and the parties being unable to reach a settlement, the pretrial conference was continued to the 6th of July. See court docket, this and that. I haven't figured out how to view the court dockets yet either. However, he cites some rules of criminal procedure with regard to when a person can request a bill of particulars. Now he cites all this different stuff. State versus Fulton. Fulton explained this and that. Applying these standards to the present case, the first question is whether the information itself was detailed enough to give defendants sufficient notice of the charges. Okay, more analysis of whether or not a bill of particulars would be necessary. The next question is whether Lemon exercised his right to seek a more particular notice by requesting a bill of particulars under this rule, which says it must be filed within 14 days of the arraignment. As such, Lemon's motion for a bill of particulars is not timely. When I read that, I was like, oh no. However, Lemon has requested that the court grant him an extension of time in which to request a bill of particulars, argues that he's a pro se litigant without legal knowledge or experience. The rules of criminal procedure grant the court discretion to extend the time in which the defendant can request a bill of particulars, reviewing all of the pleadings and the facts and circumstances of the case. The court hereby grants Lemon's motion for a bill of particulars and directs the Kaysville City's Attorney's Office to provide said bill of particulars to Lemon no later than the 1st of August 2026 in anticipation of the pretrial conference set for the 24th of August 2026, dated 13th of July. So that was a big win for me a couple of weeks ago, and I've been waiting for this bill of particulars to be sent from the prosecution. I went out and checked my mail today. I figured, okay, it's after August 1st. They probably sent it by now. Found this in the mail. Another filing. This one is from the prosecution. Upon consideration of the motion of the plaintiff filed herein and good cause appearing therefore, it is hereby ordered that the above entitled action is dismissed without prejudice. By the way, there's more. Somewhere around the 20th of July, I'd have to look up the exact date, I sent out a bunch of emails to Kaysville City Council, all the city councilors and the mayor and the city manager. After sending those emails, I went and appeared at the city hall meeting, and I gave a 3-minute presentation, or 3-minute. I was able to talk for 3 minutes, and I put them on notice. And if you guys didn't see that video, I was singing, I was talking nice and loud, and I let them know that that basically I'm telling them they know, they've been informed of the situation. So additionally, there's other stuff that happened because I have 4 cases going. So I got assigned a defense attorney on the felony charges, bogus felony charges levied against me, and I've tried to join my cases and consolidate them all into one case. That's still an ongoing conversation. Certificate of service. I hereby certify this is a true and correct copy of the motion in order to dismiss, and it was sent to this address. The next page, Mr. Mills gives his reasons, quote unquote reasons, for why he dismissed it. And basically he says, well, Lemon has all these other charges that he's facing right now, and summarizes, faced with these multiple charges, the city believes that its concerns will be completely addressed by the resolution in the county or Layton case. There's a county case and a Layton case. Thus, the city moves to dismiss the case without prejudice. Respectfully submitted on July 27th, 2026, Nicholas Mills, City Prosecutor. Now, this was the smallest, second smallest of my cases. But it's a big win. I've spent 7 months, I guess 6 months, because I really started making court appearances at the end of January. 6 or 7 months dealing with a lot of anxiety and fighting and fighting and fighting for my right to have meaningful conversation with the prosecution at pretrial conferences. That's what that whole complaint was about. And finally, after six and a half months of fighting, it's dismissed. So 1 down, 3 to go. I've got another court appearance tomorrow for a cracked windshield. That's not a big deal. I already replaced the windshield. So I am doing well. Hajaspear says hello to the friends. Rose investigates. Zesty house mom. Alan Sharman. Was the littering because you posted enough notices to make sure each member of the staff got their own copy each? It's like you're reading my mind, Alan. Let me think if I have a picture I can show you of it. I've got videos, I've got photos, but they're on my devices. I have something. Let's see. Yeah, I'll find a picture of it and show you, but yes, it's exactly what you're saying, Alan. Surely that's what you have to go to make sure they're all notified, so no littering. Yeah, exactly. And there's like, I mean, the extent of argumentation that I had to go through just to try to get these guys to acknowledge, Alan, what you just sensed out. It was a lot. It was a lot of effort. That's not it. Where? Okay, I'll look for it in a minute. But yes, it's exactly what you said, Alan. So if I had just posted one notice. So first of all, I would have just gone in and handed them the notice. Hey, thank you, warm Paul. Thank you for the warm greeting. Happy birthday to me. And happy eagleDog's birthday to everybody. I posted the evidence preservation requirement notice because I would have just handed it to them. I would have just gone in and given them copies. However, I had been trespassed from that location. So I'm not able to go in and just deliver it. And the court rules say that to send something to someone means to do it this way, or to do it that way, or to do it this way, or to do it that way, or by any other means to cause the document to be received in the time which it would have been received if it was sent by normal procedures. So and the classic example is a landlord evicting a tenant. If a tenant has not paid their rent, then the landlord has to give them notice. And the landlord has to print up a notice and either hand it to them, or if the tenant is not there, or if for some other reason they're not able to give it to the tenant, they're required to tape it to the door. An electric utilities company, same thing. If people don't pay their electric bill or their water bill, you'll see it sometimes. If you drive around every now and then, you'll just see a property that has a piece of paper taped to the door. It could be eviction, it could be foreclosure. All those are reasons why you'll see a notice taped to the door. The Utah court instructions specifically say that the landlord in that case is required to post however many copies as the number of tenants there are. So however many people that you're trying to serve, that's how many copies you have to post. Otherwise, they can claim they never saw it. They can claim they never received notice, that they had no knowledge. And all the case law and anything that I looked up regarding posting notices, the statutes regarding posting notices, they all say the same thing. Whatever the case law was that ended up going to the Utah Supreme Court, the person who posted the notices did not post enough notices, and the notices were not conspicuous enough. The requirement doesn't say you have to not post very many notices. The requirement says you have to post multiple notices and they have to be conspicuous, otherwise the people can claim they had no knowledge. Ironically, by pursuing this littering charge against me, the city has proven that the T-Mobile store did indeed have knowledge of these evidence preservation requirement notices. So the first win was when Justice Yanchowski granted my motion for a bill of particulars and directed the Kaysville City Attorney's Office to provide said bill of particulars to Lemon no later than the 1st of August. And then now the second win. And I don't know exactly which of all of these actions caused this. I believe it's the cumulative effect. Now Nicholas Mills has dismissed this case. I'm going to see Nicholas Mills tomorrow with regard to my cracked windshield. Next, I'll tell you guys about the cracked windshield. Fantastic news, but I thought they might fold. Yep, saw that video. Wonderful singing voice. Thank you. Made me laugh. That was the idea. Now to get the rest dumped. I wish you all the luck with getting some more dumped too. Yeah, it's going to be a fight on all of these. I've had to fight with the attorneys to get them to take me seriously. So on one case, and what I do, by the way, is I record my conversations. So I might even show you guys. We'll see how it goes on the stream. But I've got a recording of all of my conversations with the attorneys, with their legal assistants, paralegals. I record all of that. And so I created a transcript, in fact, of one of those conversations. And I'm working on bringing that to light. So one of the attorneys, Josh Larson, I have a very negative opinion of him. Another attorney I feel very good about, and he's the guy on the felony case. His name is, let's see, Sean Condy. And so Sean Condy is my public defender who's been assigned to me on the most important case of all. And the most, maybe not the most bogus. I think the littering case was the most bogus, but the second most bogus of all. Anyway, with Sean Condy, I've argued with him and fought with him and argued with his assistant, and I've sent all these emails. And now finally we're in a position where we're engaging with each other. Whereas before he was just ignoring me and dismissing all of my concerns. I'll show you my biggest concern, and this is kind of my biggest case that I'm facing. I can pull this up. Oh, I want to save that one. I don't want to lose this page because I haven't finished watching that video. So what I do is I duplicate so I don't have to look up YouTube again. Oh. Hey, this is nice. I love this ad. What I've done is I've tricked the algorithm into thinking that I want to buy one of these things. So instead of getting annoying ads, I keep getting this ad that I really like. If you guys want to trick the algorithm, here's how you do it. When you get an ad that you like, you go down here and pretend like you're interested in buying it. Then whatever pops up, you just close that window. And then you skip the ad.
In the store. So I'm thinking...
Okay, so what I want to do is I'm going to go and find my channel. And I'm going to find this. This is the main video at the heart of the felony charge. No, let's see videos. Now that's me singing. That's my Chihuahua Effect financial analysis video. And then if you go way back to when I was just making all kinds of videos that no one ever saw. Now people are seeing them. Wow, 100 views on some of these. Jail Story 4. This is the one. So I was trying to get Sean Condy to watch this video. It took me like a month and some change to get him to watch it. But I think he's seen it now, and I think he understands the situation. The issue is that I was SA'd by the guard at the Davis County Jail. So you're going to see how many times I get searched. You're going to see me get searched 3 times here.
Yeah. Can you widen your stance for me? Thank you. Okay.
That's the first one. Now I'm at the jail. You can see him searching me a second time here. Officer Gom it's Officer Gom's body camera. He's the one who arrested me. He was spending a lot of time messing with my pockets.
It's like I can feel it.
Yeah, I was what's going on there? Okay, I see.
What, your stance for me?
Oh, yeah.
Here's the first time. Boom. That's getting SA'd right there. Again. Oh no, don't do that. Don't rub my junk, man.
Alright, we'll take those cuffs off for your hands on the counter, right?
So I didn't like that. But I was just like, okay, I'll just kind of put it out of my mind because I don't want problems here. However, watch what happens next.
I'll take yours.
Okay, straighten out your hands. Go ahead and put that hand on the counter. Now I'm going to straighten it right here.
Thank you.
And I'm just your glasses for a second. Okay, that here's the...
My hair was a mess because I'd been wearing a hat. I wasn't expecting anybody to see my hair that day.
Take the socks off the counter and your outerwear pants as well.
Thanks. I do this every day. That's cool. That's like a habit for you, right?
Yeah.
It's cool.
I really want to have someone on the ground.
Did you hear what he said there? Don't want anyone on the ground. Don't want anyone on the ground. Don't want anybody falling on the ground. So what he said is don't want anybody falling on the ground. But you hear the way he said that? The behavior analysis panel calls that fading facts. That's when someone doesn't really mean what they say or they know that they're lying. Let's see how much he really cares about my well-being.
Yeah. I'm just gonna let it aerate a little bit.
I got the couple there. And if they smell, it doesn't matter. It's close, won't work.
Yeah, it's cool.
Just stay right there.
Yeah.
You're right there, huh? Just
Yeah.
let it go. I say, there you go.
Gotcha.
Do you see how much they're freaking out because I'm reading a piece of paper? That's weird, but once I sensed that he was like, literally did not want me to touch the piece of paper, I let it go. All right.
Is your body cam still on?
It is.
I'm just gonna show my receipt.
Listen to that. That happens every time, man.
I know.
Face them.
I was putting it on the camera.
Come on over here. Come on over here.
Do you guys have body cameras?
Nope.
Okay, I need to get some evidence.
Come on. Over here. All right. Put your hands on the counter for me. Wire your stance. All right. Any chains on you? Any bracelets, piercings, anything?
No.
All right.
Thought we already did this.
We do it twice.
Why are you,
We'll do it twice. Okay?
why is he searching me again?
Just look forward for me.
If you see that look on my face when I'm asking why he's searching me again, there's a reason for that. It's because he had already been touching my private areas, and at least that time I had a kind of heavy pair of sweatpants on, but now it's a thin pair of pajama pants, and I don't, you can see that look on my face. I don't want that to happen again.
Okay?
Thought we already did this.
We do it twice.
Why are you,
We'll do it twice. Okay?
why is he searching me again?
Just look forward for me.
We've already done this.
No. We're going to do it twice. Let go. Put your hands on the counter.
Don't touch my balls, please.
Put your hands
That's
on
sexual
the
assault. That's
Put your
sexual
hands on the
assault.
counter.
That's sexual assault. That's sexual assault. That's sexual assault.
Come over here.
And so, by the way, the key element of this case, like the main focus, at least for me right now, and certainly with regard to my defense attorney, is this whether or not I complied and put my hands back on the counter. Let's see if that happens. Because in the court filing documents, the statement of probable cause, all that stuff, this guy, Samuel Kirk, says that I did not comply, or that I did not allow them to search me. Let's see if that's true.
That's sexual assault. Sexual assault.
Let go. Put your hands on.
So what you can see is I did grab my stuff and make it inaccessible for Luis Hernandez, is the guy who's doing the search, the pat down, the assault. So I did hold my junk for a little bit, but then let's see what happens.
Counter.
Don't touch my balls, please.
Put your hands
That's
on
sexual assault. That's
Put your
sexual
hands on the
assault.
counter.
Did you see how my hand went back up to the counter as soon as he stopped touching my junk?
That's sexual assault. That's
And what does Samuel Kirk say?
That's sexual assault. That's sexual assault. That's sexual assault.
Put your hands on the counter or you're going to go in there for
That's sexual.
behavior. I don't even know what kind of behavior he says.
Put your hands
That's
on.
sexual assault. That's sexual assault. That's sexual assault. That's sexual.
Put your hands on the counter or you're going to go in there for behavior. Now, do you see that both of my hands are on the counter? Okay.
Sexual assault. That's sexual
Come
assault.
over here.
They also said that I was yelling and acting erratic, and the way they described the scene there is very different than what actually happened. Luis Hernandez laughs about it to the nurse.
Does anyone get pat down second? Everybody gets pat down second.
Everybody gets patted down a second time. I know, everybody. Do you hear me? You hear me in the cell there? Where's the cameras? Where's the cameras? Where's the cameras? Oh, wait, that's right. There is a camera. Uh-oh.
He didn't want to cooperate, so he got put in the timeout room.
Guess you didn't treat him with as much respect as you did.
Once they started checking his...
And that's where the body cam, that's where Officer Gom cut out the body cam, so I don't know what he said after that, but that when they started checking his, I would have liked to heard the rest of that. So I had to really fight to get my defense attorney to watch that video. But now he's starting to respond. He's also getting the idea that I record our conversations. I took video when I met with him at my first hearing for that particular matter. So that's the kind of the core of it. That's the core of the big case that I'm fighting right now. That's the felony right there. Great tip. It's about to be little ad control. It's all about belittle ad control. Yeah, I've got my own. I've got like 4 or 5 ads that just keep popping up, and I keep clicking that. Yeah, I want to buy this, so it keeps showing me those ads, just the ones that I like. All right, and one thing I haven't really figured out when I'm live streaming is to see how many people are still hanging around. But I think I have a way to do that too. I'll do that right now just so I kind of have a sense of who's here. The way I can do that is by going back to my channel and checking out this live stream. Oh yeah, we got a few people here. Cool. So thanks for hanging around. But I think I have a way to do that too. I'll do that right now just so I can, let's see, and I have a sense of who's here. There we go. 9 watching now. Oh. Thanks for the thumbs up, everybody. So that's kind of the gist of where I'm at with the attorneys. And it was a fight to get Sean Condi to watch that video. And he also has a private investigator named Joel who works with him. So Joel's a really nice guy. I've been really happy to be able to talk with him and have him be part of the process. But I've been fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting for my rights at every step of the way. You can see in that video that I was just stating what had happened and putting it on record and not yelling. I don't think I was yelling. But the way they've characterized it in the filing in the charging documents is very different. So I needed to get the attorney to see that the filing documents are fraudulent so that we can have a conversation about reality, start addressing the facts. Ad should have been on control sticky keys on keypad. Ooh, yeah, actually, since you bring it up, Alan, yeah, I do actually have that ability. Let me show you how I do it. I use Sublime Text. I also use Visual Studio, but Sublime Text is just simple and easy. So I call this utools, this particular file, and I've built in there that whenever I push number pad subtract, so the minus symbol on my number pad, it'll run the skip ads routine. And skip ads is pause for 100 milliseconds, which is 1/10 of a second. Then move the mouse to skip spot 1, skip spot 2, which are the X and Y coordinates. Because skip spot is an array of numbers, being 1300 and 670. Then sleep for, which is pause, just don't do anything for 1/10 of a second, and then click. So you move to skip spot, and then you click on skip spot. These are the X and Y coordinates. So if I execute this by hitting Control B for run, okay, I can tell that it's running because it pulls up this kind of console. So now, if I'm in YouTube, full screen, and I'm watching a video, and then an ad comes up. Maybe if I refresh, it'll bring up an ad.
Before the homeowner was...
Let me see if I can get an ad to pop up. There we go. Okay. This is another one of my ads that I like, by the way. So I'm going to click here. Get him to keep sending me this ad. Okay, so if I'm in full screen. Okay, watch. Now watch. Now I just press the minus key.
You're on my place.
Hey, it's so cool, Alan, that you and I think a lot the same. You've like read my mind already twice in this live stream. I'm going to exit right now because if I'm using the number pad, oops, then I don't want to accidentally hit that. But I do use that on a regular basis, like especially if I'm in the other room. Lately, I've only been mostly working on legal documents, but I used to do a lot of like working on the house. This is a fixer-upper, so I'd be painting or cleaning the floor of the garage. So I'll have a YouTube video on, and then an ad comes up, and so then I'll just go and run and hit that key real quick and then get back to work. All right, I'm going to get back into formatting. Let's see, where was I? But definitely, I'm mostly here to interact with you guys, talk with you guys. So do not hesitate to communicate here. Bravo. Haha. Genius. Thank you. Hey, and by the way, I'll show you guys how to do that in future streams or later in this stream if you guys are interested, or right now. Let me just tell you what the program is that does all that. It's called AutoHotkey. I'll just pull it up real fast and show you. So it only works on PC. On Mac, there's a built-in utility that kind of does the same kind of thing. It's not quite as versatile. But if you are on a PC, any kind of Windows machine, AutoHotkey is awesome. When I first was investigating AutoHotkey, I was like, well, is it going to have viruses? Because it's making it so that basically it'll automatically do stuff on my computer. Does that mean can I trust it? And I've done the research, and I'll tell you guys, yeah, it's trustworthy. In fact, if you want to know how trustworthy it is, you can look it up on GitHub. Oh, wait, let's see. Here, I'll show you. /eagleDog 4. Oh, maybe it's just eagleDog. eagleDog. Okay, that's me on GitHub. I haven't done anything on GitHub in quite a while. But it shows which programs, like which programming languages are used in each of these different repositories. So for this one that I called Chingu Gem Go, Ruby is the main programming language. For Carbot, that's an Arduino program. C++ is the main programming language. Mostly I've used Ruby. There might be some stuff in here with Python. But as you can see, one of these I called AFK, and the programming language used there is AutoHotkey. So AutoHotkey is recognized as a programming language. You install it in the same way that you would install a programming language. You look it up on Google or DuckDuckGo or Ecosia, and then you go and find their webpage. You kind of check it out. Oh, is it safe? They have a link there. You can read about that. But then you look around and just find wherever you can download it. And then here it is, download. I'm not going to download it right now because I've already got it. And then you install it. And then when you create a program in a text editor that uses that particular programming language, you save it with the appropriate extension. So if it's a Ruby program, then that has a different extension. But for the AutoHotkeys, you just end that file name in .ahk, and then you're ready to go. And I don't think I have this particular script saved on GitHub. I'm pretty sure I don't. Let me see. all my repositories. See if I have anything on there where you might be able to learn about auto hotkey. Not really. The only one there is oh no, yeah, no, not listener. It'd be that AHK. But that, or AFK. But this repository, I think it's pretty busy. It has a lot going on. Basico. Basico, I think, is where you would find it. Yeah, this one. If you look up the AFK repository and then check out Basico, that'll give you some general guidelines on how to run a auto hotkey script on a PC. Okay, just wanted to show you guys that in case that's of interest. And then bravo. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It's all about the keyboard shortcuts. Okay, yeah, what I was doing here with the formatting is for a figure paragraph, I want to give it a border. So I'm going to modify that paragraph style. Go to borders. I want a really light border. I'm going to make it gray. And put it all around it. Padding of 0.02 is good. That's how much space there's going to be around it. That's good. But I also want that font to be smaller. So I'll make the font size like 9. There we go. So we'll see those and we'll know, well, that's just like an image and they're just describing the image. And as I'm going through and reading, I will generally skip that section, but it's still included in case we want access to it. Now this is a call out box. I don't know what the best technical description of a call out box is. If anybody in the chat knows what the actual word is to describe one of these call out boxes, I'll be interested to know that. We treat all customers as friends. I want to see if that's included in the call out box. So I'm going to go to the source. Is it here? No. Here. What does our brand stand for? Values, bricks and minifigs, up to values is a call out box. So from here down to here, that's going to be the paragraphs that are going to be, I guess, down to here. That's the call out box. So I'm going to create a new paragraph style. Again, just inheriting from default. New style from selection. A underscore underscore call out box. There's probably a better word to describe that. I'm going to call it a call out box. And for that, I'll give it a border for sure. This one I will make black. I'll make it a little stronger, a little heavier of a width. And I think what will make it stand out a little more is if I just increase the padding around it. Yeah, that's all right. Oh, the background is gray. I know what I'll do. I'll bring it in. Let's get rid of the formatting marks also. It makes it a little easier. Yeah, I'll just bring it in a little bit. I know what I'll do. So I'm going to increase the padding a little bit more. But then I'm going to go to indents and spacing. I'm going to say before text 0.04 and after text 0.04. Yeah, so you can see the border is indented from the edges of the column, so it just makes it stand out a little bit more. That'll be our call out box formatting. If we bump into any more call out boxes, that's what we'll use. Oh, let's see here. Someone has spoken. What editor are you using there, eagleDog? That's Sublime Text. Sublime is, in my opinion, just the most accessible for beginning programmers. I guess I'd consider myself, what, it goes from beginner to amateur to, no, from beginner to novice to amateur to junior. I think I'm at the junior level, maybe between amateur and junior. But Sublime Text is very easy to use. And then if you want to have a little bit more of a full-featured, robust code editor, then VST by Microsoft, Visual Studio, or VSC. Anyway, Visuals, whatever the Microsoft one is. Hadgespear says, I use it to assign a lot more functions to otherwise boring standard mouse. It's really that good. As Matthew says, so I think Hadgespear is saying that that yes, he uses, or they uses auto hotkey, and it just to make his mouse like more functional. So probably Hadgespear, if you could mention, I'd be interested to know. Probably you use like Control with the right click, or Control with the left click, or Control Shift right click, or if you hold down like the number 5 and do a scroll wheel or something. And he's just made all these little. He's expanded his mouse to make his mouse be able to jump around and select things real quick. I assume that's kind of the use case that Hadgespear is talking about. Okay, I'm going to check the source document to see if there's any more formatting to look out for. Oh yeah, we got some bold words here. Important viewpoints to consider, never and as it happens. Never. Now for this one, I'm not going to assign a paragraph style. I'm going to assign a character style. And based on default character style, I will create a new style from selection. I'll start it with A underscore underscore, and I'm just going to call this one bold. For something like this, you could just go in and make them bold as you go with Control B. That's easier. The only reason I'm doing it this way, I would normally just do Control B, but since this is such a big document, I might want to go back later and adjust what that looks like, and it's going to be a lot easier by having my own character style here. And again, to preserve inheritability, I'm making all my changes directly within the style itself. It will never work out as planned. You must triage your day as it happens. Triage is an interesting choice of words there. I would not think of triaging my day, but maybe that is. I don't know. Triage sounds a little bit harsh. Let's see what they're referring to. There will be times when staff call in sick, a huge collection walks out the door, or alarms literally go off and need to be handled, etc., etc. If you can maintain flexibility, you can succeed in retail. Flexibility rules. And that's true. You know, I've actually encountered this concept back when I was working for the bank. I had a mentor. He was my manager. He was the regional manager. He was my boss. His name is Larry. And this is a guy who to this day I really look up to and I really appreciate. But he never said triage, but he taught us this concept. It's a great concept. The manual is a 2-semester college class. Hey, Junie. Hey, good to see you. Oh my gosh, you are so right with that. Oh, they just took all this like just standard like business 101 and business 102. Maybe if it was a business class, it might have some more numbers in there because they're only referring to accounting, but I don't see that they're actually like showing too much examples of accounting. But all the verbiage, all the words I see in there, it's all just like a business training seminar, 2-semester college class. I might say 1 semester, maybe half semester. I don't know if it's, I haven't gotten into it that far, so Junie probably knows more than me about this, but that's a very accurate comment. It's like a 2-semester college class. Well, so what Larry told us is that throughout the day, we have like a set of priorities. Like any given day, I've got a list, a written list. I inherit it from the previous day. At the end of every day or the beginning of the next day, I take my list from the previous day and then I rearrange it. I might just use the same list for a week. I might use it for 3 days and just change the date at the top, cross out the date and change it. But I have a list of priorities for my day. What Larry taught us is that throughout the day, we have to change those priorities as different things come up. So we have to constantly shift our priorities around and reprioritize. That's the word that Larry taught us. So instead of triage, I think a much softer and more appropriate word would be reprioritize. Because triage to me immediately calls to mind people who are bleeding and like missing limbs, and we have to figure out who to treat first. It really makes it gives the sense of an emergency. And we should not be in emergency mode. We should be in control of our decisions and in control of our day-to-day activities. That's one of the big lessons in life, is to get out of emergency reactive crisis mode and get into fire prevention mode. It's the old Stephen Covey thing that we want to prevent fires from occurring rather than running around putting out fires. However, if a fire pops up, even if we're very on top of things and organized, emergencies will pop up all the time. And something that's not an emergency, but it's an urgency, is a phone call. Anytime a phone call comes in, I'm in the middle of writing a report, a phone call comes in, I take the phone call, that becomes my priority now. While I'm on the phone call, I figure out what level of priority to assign what I'm talking about. Did I resolve everything on the call, or do I add something to my list? Or usually I just immediately deal with it. I might quickly send an email to respond to that call, or someone's telling me I need to send out a title, what do they call it, a title insurance request. A lot of times I'll just respond right then, and then I've already dealt with it. However, sometimes it's something that it's going to mess up my whole day. I have to put everything on hold. I've got an emergency. I got to go deal with it. I reprioritize my day based on those events that come in. But triage, that's kind of a heavy word to use for that kind of situation. I personally don't really approve of that particular word. And what not to do, I assume. Let's see. Warren Paul responds to Junie Shu's comment. It's a 2-semester college course of what not to do. It really is. This whole debacle is like a summary of Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. If these guys had read that book and done everything the exact opposite of what he says to do in that book. These guys are in emergency mode all the time. They love a crisis. They live for a crisis. What happens is if people are not proactive, then their life becomes a constant series of crises. And the way Larry explained it to us is such a good business tip. He said 1 outgoing call saves 6 incoming calls. What that means is if I have a customer and I'm working on setting up some financing for them. So when we first talk about the deal, okay, I've got, let's say, 5 houses I'm going to build. The builder says I've got 5 houses I'm going to build, and 3 of them are pre-sold and 2 of them are specs, which means we're just building them and try to sell them after we built them. And so we want to get financing for these to build these 5 houses. So, okay, great. We're going to set up the title insurance. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. We're going to get appraisals based on the plans. I'll need sets of plans and so forth. So then that's going to take, typically, we could get it done, depending on the customer, we could get it done pretty fast. We could get it done even, I could do it in a week. I was the fastest. But no, there was another guy named Jim who was even faster than me. But I could get them done fast. But if it's a new customer especially, then it's going to take us typically a month, maybe 3 weeks. So within that first week, what I want to do is give a call to that customer and say, hey, just touching base with you, letting you know I've already ordered the appraisals. I got the plans that you sent over. We've already ordered title insurance, and I'll get in touch with you if there's anything else I need. If it's a new customer, I would need like a bunch of financial statements as well. So there's like a whole process for approving them to build 5 houses at the same time. So I'd say, okay, we got the financial statements, or we're still waiting on this financial statement. They'll say, yeah, good. Okay, I'll send it to you next week. But the fact that I reached out to them just real quick, hey, just touching base, letting you know, okay, talk to you later. Now that saved 6 incoming phone calls. Because now that customer knows that I am proactive, that we are on top of things. Because they know from experience that some people say they're going to do stuff and then they don't do it. Some people, something will sit on their desk and they're dealing with crises all the time, so they haven't really focused on what they need to be organized on. So a customer will call and nag a better example would be a loan officer a loan officer if you're buying a house and a loan officer is just setting up your mortgage. So they request a bunch of documents and then you get in touch with them and say, hey, what's going on? I haven't heard from you. I sent you those documents. I haven't heard anything back from you. Okay, now in that situation, the loan officer is going to get a bunch of calls from that customer because that customer feels like the loan officer is not on top of things. So that loan officer, by being proactive and letting the customer know I'm on top of things, that puts that loan officer in a position of being organized and responsible. And there are a lot of loan officers who are an example of they're not organized, they're not responsible. They keep getting all these calls all day long, all these mini fires from these customers who are legitimately concerned that this person is not on top of things. So now they're always in a mode of crisis. They're always scrambling. They're always rushing at the last minute to get something done that they should have gotten done 5 days ago. It's a huge difference of mindset. Oh my gosh. I even read about it today. You guys, do you recognize this volcano? Do you know what that stands for? Let me check the comments here. Whoa. Like this. Junie Shu says, hope you are doing and feeling well. Blessings to all. See you, Junie. I don't know if you're still here, but just communicating with you guys in this chat makes me feel a lot better. I don't have a lot of real world friends right now, and I do these live chats primarily to communicate with you guys. Okay, so anyway, I was waiting to pick up someone at an appointment. I had an hour to kill, and their appointment was right next door to the Scientology church in downtown Salt Lake. It's just right at, like, if anyone knows Salt Lake, there's the avenues are up on the hill. There's like a bunch of streets that are Avenue A, Avenue B, or Street 1, First Avenue, Second Avenue, and they kind of go up the hill towards the state capitol. And the Scientology church is right at the bottom of the avenues, right at the bottom of the hill there. So anyway, I went over there. I've never been into a Scientology church. I've visited all kinds of churches in my life. I've been to I've been to visit with the Jehovah's Witnesses. I've been to multiple evangelical churches in multiple countries. I've been to Lutheran church, Pentecostal churches, Methodist churches. I've visited Church of Christ. I've visited all different types of churches. I've visited a Muslim mosque several times. I went to their like introductory beginning kind of like missionary classes, I guess, like classes for new members. I didn't end up joining, but I did learn a lot from that process. I've been to Jewish temples. I've been to friends' bar mitzvahs, but I'd never been to a Scientology place until this was about a week ago. And so while I was in there, I picked up a bunch of their materials. This one is Free Yourself from Stress and Anxiety. And then when you actually read, there's nothing in there. It's all just like, you need to buy this book. You need to take this seminar. You need to buy this book. You need to take this seminar. However, at the foundation, the basic concept of Scientology is actually a good concept. They say reactive mind and analytical mind. This is the core idea of Scientology, and it is correct. The reactive mind is the limbic system. It's the lower brain, the reptilian brain, the dog brain. And the analytical mind is the cortex, which is the top and outer part of the brain. It's the outer part of the brain. So the cortex is where the logic happens. And the limbic system is what we call that lower brain. The limbic system is the instinctive fight or flight emergency reactive mind. And so you don't need to buy all of L. Ron Hubbard's books to understand that, but there is some truth to at least this core concept of Scientology. And this idea of reprioritizing throughout the day is critically important for maintaining the analytical mindset and not being in the reactive firefighter mindset. We want to be the fire preventer mindset. We want to anticipate problems. And then when little fires do come up, okay, got it, on we go. But I would not use the word triage. I think that just using the word triage, here's the problem when they say triage. So they're dealing, this is a really good example. These guys write in their user manual, they're describing more of a reactive emergency way of approaching things. There's going to be alarms, now this is true, staff members will call in sick all the time. But that's not an emergency, that's a known entity. Of course we know that's going to happen. We have to be prepared for that. A huge collection walks out the door, that's something different, that's a theft. Alarms literally go off. But they're talking about emergencies and triage. What they should be teaching people is reprioritize, maintain a calm, cool, and collected mindset. When I am calm, cool, and collected, I am in control. This woman explained it perfectly. Let's see if I can find this video. Find this window. This one. This woman here. You can tell from watching this interview that she is a dynamite, experienced retail manager, overqualified. She was overqualified to manage the Boise Bricks and Minifigs store. This is, if you haven't seen this one already, this is a great interview. The first 20 minutes are kind of boring, but after that, it's dynamite. This woman is impressive. She knows her stuff. She's not making things up on the fly. She's talking about the way it's done. This is a professional. This woman is a professional. Total AFOL is the channel. And that's a great interview. That woman is very impressive. She managed Reed Brimhall's Boise store with his son. I think his name is, I don't remember if his name is Trevor, but that woman is calm, cool, and collected now. And you can tell she's energetic. She's used to dealing with the retail space where there is a lot of energy. but she's not in crisis mode. Just the way she describes everything, that's the way to be. Yeah, Junie Shu says that was a great interview. That's an awesome interview. Bam do not seem to know the how to win friends and influence people method. They'd have to care about others' needs. Yeah, and another great book too. Yeah, they're not. It's you can see it with Ammon and McNeff. I've got a whole dissertation to share about this, but the way he communicates is talk, make up stuff, talk. You'll hear him using words that don't exist. You'll hear him saying sentences that don't make complete sense. He's pretty good at stringing together words to make them seem to make sense. But his approach is called word salad. Word salad is Ammon McNeff's approach. And the people around him and all the leadership, they're all using that word salad approach. Bam called Lego an iceberg. Now that's ironic. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for stopping in, Junie Shu. Great to see you. But this is true. If you can maintain flexibility. What's this? Huh. If you can maintain flexibility, you can succeed in retail flexibility rules. That is true. I call it reprioritizing. Bam calls it triage. Okay, I'm going to check the source here again for formatting adjustments. And the time is 11:20. I'll probably stream for another 20 minutes or so. And then we'll wrap it up and continue another day. And thanks for hanging out, my friends. It's I'm really here to talk with you guys, and I'm here to share a body of knowledge which I've collected. I certainly know a lot about formatting documents. It's so neat that Hadgespear uses AutoHotkey like I do. I bet Hadgespear has a lot more. Well, I don't know. I've got some pretty cool AutoHotkey programs. We would have a lot to share in that regard. I made one that plays chess. I made a chess playing AutoHotkey program. Actually, and I got it to where it can use Stockfish, which is like the chess. It's the world's best chess computer. And so I got it so it can like run Stockfish in the background to make its moves. So you can do a lot with AutoHotkey. Okay, I was formatting those words in bold. Got another figure pop out and another bold section. Ooh, and I'll tell you guys my big insight about the operations manual, as long as we're talking here. I'll make sure to do that right now so I don't forget. Just after. Watch how easy this is now that we've got the paragraph style set up. This one is figure. Saying finally our stores are not museums. We are here to sell and move product. And then this part I'm going to put character style bold. Okay, I want to show you guys the big oh, we got a chat here. I was alone for several years. My YouTube subs were my friends. 17 years ago. I loved it. Hey, that's great, Junie Shu. I had not checked out your channel yet. I'm going to check it right now. I try to check out everybody's channel and subscribe, but I'm still catching up on all of that. Let's see Junie Shu's channel. Yeah, these friends in the chat, also the videos, but the videos at least the videos I've been making have been getting a lot of comments. I try to but those two, I try to respond to all of those. I try to go through all of them. my mind, my understanding is expanded so much. The comments, I mean, some of them are repetitive, like some of them just say brick by brick, but a lot of them like just share these really keen insights, these really useful insights. Oh, that was my old channel. Okay. Maybe is there a way to view your channel? Let's see. Click. Oh wait, I know how to do it. I hope you don't mind the attention here, Junie Shu. I'm back. Okay, yeah. Well, now you got 29 subscribers on your new channel. Yeah, so you took a break for a while. I've got several different channels that are just have miscellaneous stuff on them. I do have one channel called Agrotizer where I did some programming, like very beginner level programming. But here, I'll show you guys that channel too here. At Agrotizer. That's not it. No, that's not it. It must have been Agrotizer with like a number after it. Let's see. There it is. That's me. Oh yeah, and you can see I would play Warcraft 2 on that channel. That particular video had 13 views. I was playing a card game, Animation Throwdown. I'm not playing that game anymore. It was taking too much time, but yeah, some GitHub basics. Maybe it was another channel that I had that was doing oh, and they were all live streams. That's right. There were no actual videos. I think I had some where I was doing programming some video games. There it is. So Game Jam. And yeah, just a tiny bit of programming in there. One line if return statement on Ruby with Gosu was one of my live streams. It was a test channel. Most of it was testing out my microphones, making sure I could get some sound quality. It's taken a long time for me to figure out sound quality. I'm really happy with where I landed on sound quality. All right, right now I'm going to show you guys the big takeaway from the BAM Ops Manual. I will be making a video about this sometime soon. I've already started editing on it. If we start out just in the introduction, who we are, in autumn of 2010, such and such happened, our history, started in 2003 with David Ortiz. Oh look, we got a line break here. Then David encountered John Masek and they worked together. Then we get to the section about the McNeffs. By mid-2010, such and such happened. In 2018, Ammon and Matthew McNeff get involved. And here is the real thing that really stands out to me about this entire operations manual so far. Within 5 years, I want to make this bigger so we can really see it. Make it bold there. Within 5 years of the McNeffs' turn at the helm, they had moved the franchise corporate headquarters to Orem, Utah, grown individual franchise unit economics by 132%. Whatever individual franchise unit economics means, that's a weird word or a weird phrase. What you see in their financial disclosure documents, no, before that. If you go to their website and say, I want to be a franchise, like, you know, what does it take to be a franchise? They keep saying, view the financials, view the economics, view the financial economics. But then all they put in there is numbers like this: 132%, 241%, 161%. Well, that's not the financials. The financials are what I showed in the Chihuahua video. But they use this as kind of a sales phrase, I think. Anyway, whatever individual franchise unit economics means, they grew that by 132%. Here's the important part. They grew overall brand revenue by 161%, number of stores by 167%, and support staff by 424%. What does that actually mean? And these guys don't even realize it. They're boasting about this right here in their operations manual. This is like a sales. They figure the first thing people are going to read in the operations manual is this part. So let's sell them on how awesome we are, how much we've grown. Hold on a second. Wait a second. Your income has increased by 161%. Okay? Meanwhile, your expenses have grown by 425%. This is not all their expenses. This is called SG&E, Standard, General, and Operating. S&G, Standard and General Expenses. This is the operational expenses. So they additionally have cost of goods. That's separate. So not all of their expenses have increased by 425%. Their cost of goods is a different thing. But their operational expense has increased essentially by 425%. They've got, in their home office, they just keep hiring and hiring and hiring people. Do you remember in the security videos, there's that guy who kind of looks like a pirate who comes out, he's got like a bandana on? All these miscellaneous people from their main office. There is a style of growth that looks that way. It happens with when you get venture capital for a startup. Startups, a lot of times what they want to do is just grow, and then grow, and then grow, and they keep on bringing in. That's why they have round A funding, round B funding. The purpose of all of that is designed so that they've designed it so that the venture capitalists can keep grabbing more and more of the pie and leave a smaller and smaller amount of the pie for the original founders. That's the reason they do that aggressive growth and that round A, round B, round C funding. So that finally when they go public, the venture capital guys get that massive boost in equity from selling public stock, and the amount of that pie that goes to the actual founders ends up being relatively small. That's the reason they push for that aggressive growth. I was alone for several years and had the YouTube subs were my friends. Junie, I wonder if that's part of the reason why you and I have connected and why you found me. I really appreciate you. The reason I'm alone is not because I'm a loner. People love me. I'm a very friendly guy. My neighbors love me. Anyone I know loves me. The reason I'm alone is because I'm honest and I speak the truth and I don't allow people to violate my boundaries. However, I was not always that way. I'm what they call a people pleaser. So I never knew how to say no. I didn't even think it was okay to say no. I thought the reason I said yes all the time is that's the way to be. It never occurred to me to set boundaries for myself. I learned that only really in the last 10, 15 years. And then when I set a boundary for myself, then people who are bullies, because bullies really, they identify targets. Here's something I heard on a documentary about prison. If you ever go to prison, or certain jails, like Los Angeles County Jail is basically like a prison, but most jails are not this way. But they're a little bit this way, but prison is definitely this way. If you get to prison, you don't want to be nice, you don't want to be sharing your food, you don't want to be showing people that you're a nice person, you want to show them that you're tough and mean. Because The bullies in prison, they identify the nice guys that share their food and that share things as a target. So then they see that person, they say, okay, this is someone who I can manipulate. So then what they do is they extort that person. They say, you need to call your family and get them to put money into the account, the commissary account. Like the prisoners have like a commissary account. So they have like a cash fund that they can draw from to buy ramen noodles and chips and I think like certain like drink beverages and stuff. So they'll see this nice person, they'll target that person, and they'll start to extort that person and force that person to call family, get money into the commissary account, and give that money or those commissary items to the bully. So that's prison. That's like an extreme example, but basically that's what was happening in my life. But then if someone like that, I put up boundaries with them and they freak out because they're like, what? This guy doesn't have the ability to stand up for himself. Well, it turns out I do, because I spent my whole high school career standing up to bullies, and I was very popular and well-known and well-liked. I was a performer. I would play piano and sing. I was in choir. I was in show choir. I was like in the special choir group that only has 8 people, and they do like really tight, good, intricate harmonies. I had to put boundaries with people, and that includes people in my family. And some people who I considered friends. Junie Shu says, you're so talented and educated, it's fun to watch. Thank you so much. I've been a hermit living in a cave for 17 years. And all before that, I was talented and educated and fun. And then I spent those 17 years just continuing to learn, but without so much, with hardly any people in my life. I was a single mom with no family at all, work and home. So, yeah, I'm a single father, and there was specifically a period of about 3 years where my life was just so stressful because it was I had a very stressful job. I was doing corporate training. I was teaching like Excel spreadsheets mostly, but also like all kinds of different software. And then I'd hurry from that stress. The thing that was stressful about it was not teaching Excel. That's a known entity. But I would learn a new software system in like 3 days and then go present to a team of employees that were all, they'd been using it for 3 years. I'd been using it for 3 days. I would come in and present myself as a subject matter expert and nail it, and they would all be impressed because they would learn new things. They knew this software so well, but I would bring them up to the next level. But to be able to learn all that information in 3 days was extremely stressful. And I was trying to make food for my kid, pick my kid up from daycare, communicate with other family members. Warren Paul says, eagleDog, I'm looking in a mirror and seeing you. I think Alan Sharman, similar. And I think a lot of people, a lot of the friends that I've made here, I think we are people who are truth seekers and not social climbers. The normal way of interacting with people, if you go to a church, for example, every church has its own little cult-like community. And that doesn't mean that these people are all members of cults and that all churches are cults. I don't see it that way at all. But what you'll see is certain people try to out-spiritualize each other. Hadja Spear is waving. I don't really know if that means you're taking off or not, but if so, thanks for coming in. But Warren Paul, I'm glad to see you here, and I think that's what I'm learning is that the individuals that I've met through YouTube, through the algorithm. Hey, so the algorithm's not all bad. Are the truth tellers, the truth seekers, the people who are helpful and kind and trying to help other people, and also really technical. It seems that I've drawn in a very technical crowd. people who are interested in understanding the truth of the matter and not just taking everything at face value. But it doesn't mean that I'm going to speak for us as a group, but it doesn't mean that we're like obsessed with every little detail. But what we're trying to do is understand, develop understanding. I think that's the way I might describe it. Oh, Hajjaspir is waving to Paul and Junie. Okay. Hello. Hi, everybody. Hello. I'm about to wrap up here. This is the main insight that I have about this operations manual. I am working on a video about this. I'll put this out there on an actual video sometime soon. As always, the information that I share, I'm putting it out to the public to make it open. I was so happy to hear that Alan saw on Luce's channel that people have picked up on the idea that if you go out and spend those gift cards, that's going to draw down the cash at headquarters. The cracks are already beginning to form. We can already see the cracks beginning to form with BAM. The one of the big indicators is that when they sent a takedown notice to the bammap.com, they didn't even have their lawyers send the takedown notice. They sent it from corporate. This indicates that they are now having troubles paying their lawyers. We've already seen from the investigative work of other YouTubers that Ammon McNeff owes $500,000 to a previous lawyer who apparently no longer works with him. They've probably accrued, if I had to guess, I'd say about $300,000 in legal cost just relating to the Reckless Ben videos. I think people have already gone out and started spending those gift cards because the miscellaneous people that I've seen making those comments, and it sounds like now Luce has finally heard about it. Now it's going to reach a bigger audience, that concept. I think people have already started spending down their gift cards, and I think that is starting to affect BAM as well. I believe that they are in serious financial trouble. Now, they have Reed Brimhall to come in and save the day, theoretically, but I don't know that he's got $1 million to throw at this either. He might have $200,000 to throw at it. I don't think he's got $1 million to throw at it. Today I'm even quieter, but that's only because I enjoy listening and getting to know you. Oh, great. It's great to hear that. I appreciate that comment, Hajjaspir. You've always been so helpful. Just like like one time when I kept bumping the microphone and it kept having troubles, you let me know about that. Or if I'm on the wrong screen or something like that. It's always a pleasure to have you here. There is a guy named Dan that I've not seen back. I don't know if you remember him from one of my first live streams on this channel, but I hope he's doing well. Also, Sinwin had some questions during my last live stream that I missed, and I feel quite bad about that. Do appreciate hanging out with you. I mean, this is a hangout session. It's basically like a phone call. Oh, you know what, you guys? I'm going to put the Discord link here again. I know some of you don't use Discord, and if not, that's cool. But if you do use Discord, let's see here. What I'm going to do... What the heck? Let's see if you can see that. Oh, there we go. That's it. Oh, I got it. Okay, so there's the Discord link. So I know some of you don't use Discord, but what I'm going to do is start making it so we can do like a voice call, like call in, hang out and talk if anyone wants to talk. If you're shy, no worries. But what we'll do is we'll go into the Discord channel, and then there's like a voice channel on Discord so that you guys can, like, I'll basically have you on a phone call through Discord, and then you'll just be on the live stream. And that'll just be something that I'm going to start doing on future live streams. But that's the Discord channel. It's called Bench Evidence. The idea is that it relates to Ben's evidence, but then in a year or two, once all these cases are resolved, then it'll also be a place to view other cases. I doubt Bam can survive all this. Fascinating to follow either way. Oh, they are already beginning to suffer. They will need to get a lot of cash. They are in trouble. My old channel was Truth, Justice, Teaching, Love, and Peace. Oh, great. Let me see if I can find that. However, this is just the beginning. It's gonna be a long, slow, agonizing death. Love, truth, justice, teaching, love. Let's see. Truth, justice, love, teaching, and peace. First thing that came up for me, where justice, love, and mercy meet, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Happy birthday notification from family. That's interesting. I have been checking out a lot of LDS stuff recently. Love, truth, peace, freedom, justice. Here it is. Is that it? Let's see. Truth, justice, teaching, love, and peace. Love, truth, peace, freedom, justice. I don't know if that's it. Let's see if Junie Shu says. That's not the name, though. Oh, okay. Well, as long as we're on the topic, let's see what the
of any kind
Church of Jesus Christ has to say about this. Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Jimmy, age 14, and John, age 19, though that's not their real names, without safety ropes or harnesses or climbing gear of any kind, attempted to scale a sheer canyon wall in my native southern Utah.
You know, I think this is what Mom was talking about. I'm still not doing anything stupid.
I'll bet.
To hold on much longer, John.
Let's see if I can guess. They get into trouble, and then one of them says a prayer, and then they get saved. Oh, look. Please bless my family and help them. He thinks he's at the end of his life. He says a prayer, and then it all worked out. Yeah, I've heard that story a million times, a million different ways. But I don't know why it says where justice, love, and mercy meet. I don't see where justice would be in that story, but I'm not going to watch it all to find out either. I was in the church back then. Oh, Junie Shu, were you? It sounds like you were LDS. I'm still technically a member of the LDS Church, Mormon, I might say. And what I have found recently is some really interesting information out there. There's a podcast called Mormon Stories. So this guy has kind of a similar faith background to me. It's this one right here, Mormon Stories podcast. That guy right there, he never technically left the church. Like, if you actually want to leave the church, you can request to have your name removed from the records of the church, and that means you've really left. But I'm still a member, and I'm friends with everyone in my neighborhood. They're all 99% LDS churchgoers. So I don't necessarily think of myself as not being part of the Mormon community. I'm just not real involved. And I don't agree with a lot of things that happen, and I don't drink the Kool-Aid, let's say. I don't drink the Flavor Aid. But what happened with this guy is finally they eventually excommunicated him because they did not approve of him telling the truth about the history of the Mormon Church. Another interesting story that I found from this Mormon Stories podcast, there's a woman who was excommunicated, but she kept going to church for 30 years. She was still an active member of the Mormon community. She was still a believer, but she was excommunicated for exposing historical truths about the LDS Church. So I might get excommunicated sometime in the future, in which case I guess I would still consider myself Mormon, though, in terms of being like part of the community. Yeah, so look at the videos that come up here from Mormon Stories. Mormon Church guilty of securities fraud, SEC fraud, and that's true. They were fined $5 million. The LDS Church was fined $5 million for securities fraud. Mormon missionary held captive. And then it's a lot of historical stuff. But anyway, that's an interesting podcast, and I found some interesting stuff in there. But they're like 2-hour episodes each, so they're very long, but they're pretty interesting. I was called Phoenix Lady. Oh, someone hacked it. That's a bummer. I wonder if you could reach out to YouTube and get any help with it. I will definitely subscribe there, though, Junie Shu, just to kind of see if I can. Hopefully they didn't do too much damage, but that's a bummer. Hadja Spear says, I'll join the Discord. It's great to have a second way to connect, etc. Yeah, great, awesome. Also, what I'm hoping to do, I don't know if you guys noticed on the most recent interview that Reckless Ben did with Channel 5, Andrew Callahan, they were talking about the significance and the importance of helping other people who are having legal problems because they're being bullied, and there's a mob mentality being targeted against them, mob violence, and weaponization of police and weaponization of the legal system. There are a lot of people out there who have this happening. There are also, I will tell you, a lot of criminals and or people who have the problem of being addicted to drugs who make up stories and pretend that the police are lying when the police aren't. And even more common, those same individuals are accurate and they say the police are lying about this, and this, but the legal system looks at them and says, yeah, but we found meth in your pocket, so therefore we're not going to pay any attention to all those other bad things the police did. I think there is a growing need and a growing voice of support for these types of individuals. The Civil Rights Lawyer channel, he can only reach out to and cover a fraction of the people out there that need this type of support. It's still there. They uploaded fight videos. Lost my home to a mortgage corp that dissolved. And that's not an uncommon story either. If you heard about why Andrew Callahan is being sued, the Channel 5 guy, the guy who just recently interviewed Ben Schneider, and then Courtney Love showed up in the middle of the interview just randomly. He is being sued by a big time mortgage company guy. So that is relevant right now. Yeah, on Discord, I'll be up there. I've already uploaded a bunch of PDFs. That's a place where we're going to be. People can share documents. People can share legal insights, and just a great place to connect. PHNIX lady, you are a phoenix, Junie Shu. You've already begun. You've already begun to rise from the ashes. Let's see if it works like this. There we are. Yep, got a bunch of fights. All right. I actually do watch some fights. I wrestled in high school, so I was a wrestler in high school. And that's part of the reason why people are surprised when I stand up for myself. Because they're surprised that I can handle myself in a fight. I don't fight people. I actually, like, I've actually done the thing of turn the other cheek. I tried turning the other cheek one time, and I expected that that would show the person that, you know, they need to stop, but they kept attacking me. So eventually I had to get out of that, but I didn't fight back. I just wrestled the guy into submission and just held him on the ground. But it doesn't get to that usually. People can tell right away that I can handle myself. I know how to defend myself. And I boxed just a little bit, just at like a boxing studio in my early 20s. So I'm interested in watching like the technical aspects of fighting, but I don't watch a lot of that, but just every now and then I'll check some of that stuff out. But anyway, here I am. Yeah, 668 subscribers. This channel was on its way. Death of America, One Nation Under Siege. Now these seem like some interesting videos. Important stuff. Cool, got some playlists here. Let's see what the videos are. Oh great, there we are. Hey. Awesome. Hey, I'll watch this stuff later. I don't know if you want everyone on the channel checking all this out, Junie Shu. But thanks for sharing that, and I will definitely be watching this. Yeah, I'm definitely capable of defending my ground. And as a wrestler, like, people think of fighting like this. First of all, they mostly think with their right hand and they forget about the left hand. So if someone's coming at you, you can like act like you're ready with the right hand and then surprise them with the left hand, and that'll end a confrontation quickly. But the main thing is grappling. And if someone does not have wrestling experience, like actually trained experience, it's like playing a piano or learning to play guitar. The more you practice, you do get better at it. And most people on the street don't have wrestling experience. So even if they're thinking like, I'm going to go in there and punch this guy, someone who weighs 200 pounds, 300 pounds, they could be so much bigger than me, they still have no chance. They have no chance against me unless they have wrestling experience. If they have wrestling experience, I'm not that great of a wrestler. I was like a mediocre wrestler at best. However, very difficult for anybody to be able to outfight me unless they have that experience. I was younger then. Wow, yeah, you probably haven't looked at that channel in a while, Junie Shu. I'll check it out later. I don't know that you want a big spotlight on you right now, but definitely appreciate you sharing that. Warren Paul says, I'm from Australia, and I got to say, your legal system is so crazy. It's sad that so many people can't afford to use it. Yeah, and the public defenders, I'm just finding out about the public defenders. So the first one I talked to, Josh Larson, I've got a whole recording of that conversation, and it's nuts. It's nuts the way he talked to me. It's unbelievable. His whole entire point was essentially, you have to take the plea deal, you have to take the plea deal, you have to take the plea deal. What? You're not going to take the plea deal? Okay. Like, you have to plead guilty. You're going to plead guilty. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to meet up and you're going to plead guilty. And I was like, no, that's not what's going to happen, actually. That's not all what we're going to do. And he's like, no, we're not going to do any depositions. No, we're not going to do any subpoenas. No, we're not going to do this. No, we're not, like, anything that is my right, he wasn't going to have it. So that's kind of my next battle right now. However, I have another public defender that I feel very good about, and his name's Sean Condy. Mine are still there, some are most. Yeah, your videos. Yeah, it looks like your videos are there, Junie Shu. I'm going to be checking them out. And everybody else, you know about it. Phoenix Lady. If you want to check it out. I think we're friends here. I think it's okay. 11:57. It's almost midnight. I got court at 11:30. Not at 11:30. At 8:30 tomorrow morning. So it's time for me to be wrapping up here. I did point out the main point I wanted to share about the fact that these guys have they're upside down. They've increased their corporate office expenses by not quite 425% because the rent hasn't changed. The rent has stayed the same, but the salary expense and like related like office supplies, computers, their office expenses have increased by 400%, 425%, while their overall revenue is increased by 161%. So they're losing more money, progressively more money each year. Junie Shu, praying, hope Sean is better for you. Oh yeah, but it's there's different spellings of Sean. It's like that. But yeah, so far, I mean, we definitely like argued about things and like I had to fight to get him to watch that video, but I'm not concerned. Like here's my attitude with people in general. Like, okay, like we had an argument, so what? Like that's not a problem for me. The problem for me is if after that a person's gonna lie about the argument. That's a problem for me. I don't mind if someone got angry at me. I don't mind if we exchange words, or my tone of voice sometimes gets the phrase I use is emotionally reactive. That's something I've learned about recently, that I want to be less emotionally reactive and maintain composure. Try to maintain my composure instead. And so, but whatever happened. To me, the issue is, can we be honest with each other, or is someone going to lie and mischaracterize my words and say that I said something I didn't say, a la Ammon McNeff, a la Josh Larson. Have a great afternoon. It's our bedtime here. Yeah, morning in Germany, afternoon, evening in Australia, late at night here in Utah. Thanks, eagleDog and Junie. Really enjoyed the stream. Hey, cool. That's great. It's really nice to have you here, Warm Paul. My next door neighbor is also a Warm Paul. He's has the same kind of. He's very different from me, like personality wise, but he has the same worldview. Not even worldview. I'll tell you one key thing. I mean, but he's a very nice and generous and helpful person. One key thing about my neighbor, he does not rush to judgment. All the time I'll hear him saying, well, I don't know all the details, but it seems like perhaps this is what's going on. He does not rush to judgment. He retains his skepticism. He retains judgment. He waits to get the information. And he's a very warm person. One of the people I appreciate so much in the world right now. All right. One thing I do have to make sure to do as I finish up here is to make sure to remember to save before I go on to other activities. Control S. Okay. Now it's saved. Now I'm safe. Life is good. Junie, thanks for sharing that channel. I will definitely check that out. Says we got 5 viewers right now. That's cool. Thanks everyone for hanging out. Alan, good to see you. Good luck in court. Tomorrow is a little one. It's no big deal. It's the cracked windshield, and I already replaced the windshield. But I'm still going to be making some, trying to make headway on there. I'll be. You know, it's like I see people when I'm there, and it's Justice Yanchowski. It's the same guy from before. So I've developed a relationship with him. Great chatting. Till next time, take care. Good morning in the UK. Oh, I've never known where you're from, Alan. I don't know if that means that you're in the UK, but I think that's what it means. So, hey, that's great. That's cool to know that we're connecting from around the world. There are so many more of us. I I've spent 17 years in almost complete isolation. There are other intellectually minded people who are not just trying to ravage their political opponents. It seems like if you get into a conversation with people, there's a lot of kind of like pseudo intellectuals and pretend intellectuals, but what they're all about is national politics, national politics, national politics. That really does not foster intellectual understanding. I think we're here to look at things a little bit more objectively and try to develop a deeper understanding. We are worldwide. Hey, California. So California is represented too. And so I have so much appreciation to Ben Schneider, who's really also doing the same thing. In general, his community is also has a similar approach, and in his videos and his approach to life. And so he's helped a lot of us connect, and we don't need to have a huge amount of people to make a big amount of difference. Just think about those gift cards. How much of a difference that is already making. It's now spread to Luce's channel, and from there, it's now everyone's going to know about that. So we only need a small nucleus of people who develop real proper, I guess, an analytical understanding of things, and then those little bits of information can spread, and then they can reach other platforms where people can spread them more broadly. This is a great interview, Total AFOL. Yeah, I think that wraps it up. Okay, good night from Utah, and hope you all have an excellent morning, evening, afternoon. And I'll be checking in the Discord here and there. Pretty much I'll check it once or twice a day, I would expect. So that's another place to connect. And whatever else I have to say, we'll say it next time. Until then, my name is Matthew. Thanks for joining me. And and my birthday has just ended. It's now just past midnight. Today was my birthday. This was my birthday celebration. Literally, this was the thing that I planned to do for my birthday, and it was to talk with you guys and communicate with you guys. So thank you so much. I try to like put on a happy face because that's the way I grew up and that's what I learned. But the truth is that I've been through some very, very sad, stressful, difficult times, and it just lifts my spirits to see you guys and to communicate with you guys through these chats. Until next time.